Captain Laura Bennett stood by the large window of the space station called Sentinel-7. She watched Earth slowly turn below her. The planet looked peaceful with its blue oceans and white clouds. Her coffee had gone cold in her hand, but she did not notice. Something felt wrong today. A message came through her brain implant. It was Lieutenant Kevin Price, and he sounded worried. His voice was clear in her mind through the technology they all used. "Captain, we found something. Unknown ship at Sector 79 Alpha. It is moving very fast. Too fast for any ship we know." Laura put down her coffee cup and checked the information through her implant. She could see everything the sensors detected. The ship was strange. It did not reflect light like normal ships. Instead, it seemed to absorb light, making it look like a dark hole against the stars. What worried her most was where it was going. The ship was heading straight for Earth at a speed that should tear any normal ship apart. "Alert everyone. Get Admiral Clark on the communication line right now." In just a few minutes, Admiral Patricia Clark appeared on all the screens in the command center. The Admiral was an older woman who had spent 30 years helping humans expand across the solar system. She had seen many things, but even she looked concerned now. "Captain Bennett, we are tracking 12 more ships like the one near you. They have shut down communications at our Mars bases. They destroyed 3 mining stations near Jupiter. This is not a friendly visit. This is an attack." Laura felt fear run through her body. Humans had looked for alien life for hundreds of years. They had built homes on different planets and moons. They had created amazing technology, but they had never met another intelligent species from space, until today. The dark ship near her station suddenly stopped moving. It stopped so fast that it should have been impossible. Then something even stranger happened. The ship disappeared. It did not explode or fly away. It just vanished from all their sensors and cameras. "Captain, I am reading strange energy inside the station, in Section 12. They are already inside with us." Laura grabbed her weapon and ran toward Section 12. Her security team followed her. They found the intruders in the main engineering room. There were 3 beings that seemed to appear and disappear like ghosts. They were very tall and thin. They had 4 arms each. Their arms moved together in strange patterns. When they saw the humans, they did not try to talk. They just raised their upper arms. Laura fired her gun first. The energy bullets went through the air where the aliens should have been, but they had already moved faster than her eyes could follow. One of her security officers fell down. His body stopped moving like something invisible was holding him. Another officer screamed when her weapon turned to dust in her hands. Then Sergeant Alex Carter did something brave. Instead of running away, he ran forward with just a simple knife. The aliens seemed surprised. One of them tried to become invisible again, but the knife still cut it. Bright liquid came out of the wound and made a hissing sound when it hit the floor. The wounded alien made a sound like breaking glass. All 3 aliens disappeared immediately. Heavy doors slammed shut, and the damaged section opened to space. All the air rushed out. Through the window, Laura saw the alien ship appear again and fly away very fast. Admiral Clark's voice came back through Laura's implant. "We received a message, Captain. It came in 18 different Earth languages. They are giving us 24 hours to give up control of our solar system. If we do not surrender, they will kill everyone. They call themselves the Concordat. They say we broke some galactic law by building homes on other planets without asking permission first." Laura looked at the blood on the floor. She looked at Sergeant Carter's knife that still had alien blood on it. She looked at her wounded crew members being taken to the medical room. "What should we do, Admiral?" The Admiral's face became hard and determined. It reminded Laura why Patricia Clark had survived 3 wars and many difficult situations. "We are going to teach these aliens something they do not understand about humans. We never give up. Not to bullies, not to dictators, and definitely not to anyone who walks into our home and makes threats. Earth is sending a reply to their demand, Captain. The message is very simple. Try harder." Laura felt a new feeling replace her fear. It was anger. These aliens came to her home. They hurt her people. They thought humans would just give up because they had better technology. They were about to learn that humans do not surrender easily. She turned to Lieutenant Price. "Get every ship ready. Call back every soldier. Wake up every scientist. We have 24 hours to prepare for war." Across the solar system, from Earth to Mars to the moons of Jupiter, humans began to prepare. They did not have the best technology. They did not have experience fighting aliens, But they had something more important. They were fighting for their survival. They were fighting for their home. And humans had never lost when everything was at stake. The Concordat had made their first mistake. They thought humans would be easy to defeat. They thought a show of power would make humans afraid. They did not understand that fear and anger are very close feelings. And angry humans are the most dangerous creatures in the universe. The countdown had begun. In 24 hours, the galaxy would learn a lesson about humanity. A lesson written in blood and fire. A lesson that would echo through space for generations to come. Do not threaten Earth, do not attack humans. Because when you push them into a corner, they do not surrender. They fight back with everything they have, and they fight to win. Dr. Helen Torres had worked in her underground laboratory for 15 years. Her lab was deep under the Andes Mountains in South America. She had 3 degrees from top universities and had won 2 Nobel Prizes for her work on quantum communication systems. People said she could solve problems that seemed impossible. Right now, she was looking at a sample of alien blood that made no sense according to everything she knew about science. The blood was still alive 12 hours after they took it from the alien, but it had no cells like human blood or any Earth creature. It changed shape when she put it near electromagnetic fields. It reacted to different colors of light. Strangest of all, it seemed to exist in more than 3 dimensions at the same time. This is amazing and frightening. These aliens are not just more advanced in technology. Their bodies evolved in ways we can barely understand. They can interact with dimensions that we only know from theory. Commander Ryan Foster was the military officer assigned to work with her. He looked worried, not impressed. Can we use this information? Can we find a way to hurt them? Helen touched her glasses out of habit, even though she had eye surgery years ago and did not need glasses anymore. Maybe. Look at this. When Sergeant Carter hit the alien with his knife, it became solid. They had to become fully physical in our dimension to interact with things here. That is why energy weapons went through them like they were ghosts. But a simple knife could cut them. So we need to fight them with knives? Against aliens who can teleport and destroy matter with their minds? Helen smiled, but it was not a happy smile. No, Commander. We need railguns. Many railguns. These weapons shoot solid metal at very high speeds using magnets. And I think I know how to make their ships visible. They are not really invisible. They bend light around themselves. But that takes a lot of energy. 300 kilometers above them in space, Captain Laura Bennett was organizing the biggest military preparation in human history. Every ship, every weapon, every soldier in the solar system was being called back and made ready for battle. The Concordat had given humans 24 hours. 18 hours had already passed. In that time, the aliens had destroyed 4 more space stations. They had also destroyed a civilian transport ship that was carrying 3,000 people, men, women, and children who just wanted to travel between Earth and Mars. The aliens had not tried to talk again. They were just showing humans how powerful they were. Lieutenant Price came to Laura with new information. Captain, we received another message. This one is not from the Concordat. It is from something called the Merchant Alliance. They want to sell us weapons and technology to fight back. Laura's eyes became narrow with suspicion. What do they want in return? They want exclusive rights to mine in our solar system for 200 years. Basically, they want us to become their servants. Tell them no. Tell them we appreciate the offer, but we will handle this problem ourselves. Price looked uncertain and worried. Captain, with respect, they are offering weapons that could make this fight fair immediately. The Concordat has technology that is hundreds of years ahead of ours. Laura showed him a video feed from Earth. It showed factories that had stopped making regular products and started making weapons instead. It showed scientists working without sleep in laboratories. It showed millions of civilians signing up to join the military. The Concordat has better technology, Lieutenant, but they have clearly never fought humans before. They think they can scare us into giving up by showing us their power. What they do not understand is that humans have been fighting each other for thousands of years. We have become very good at war. We are about to teach them how humans fight. Back in her laboratory, Dr. Torres had discovered something important. The alien ships were not actually invisible. They created special fields around themselves that bent light and sensor waves. But these fields needed enormous amounts of energy to work. If we shoot enough solid metal projectiles at them from different directions at the same time, we can overwhelm their systems. They will have to drop the invisibility fields to create shields instead. Once we can see them, we can target them properly. Commander Foster smiled for the first time that day. We have 37 railgun platforms spread across the solar system. And we can add mass drivers to every civilian cargo ship. Doctor, I think you just gave us a real chance to win. 4 hours before the deadline, Admiral Clark sent a message. She broadcast it on all human communication channels. She also sent it on every frequency the Concordat had used to contact Earth. To the Concordat forces threatening our home, you have made a serious mistake. You thought we would be easy to defeat. You thought we would surrender instead of fight. You thought your advanced technology makes you unbeatable. We are about to show you why you are wrong. This is our solar system. This is our home. We will defend it with everything we have. You wanted our answer to your threat. Here it is. Come and take it if you can. Across the solar system, humans prepared for battle. Soldiers checked their weapons. Engineers finished installing new systems on ships. Scientists sent their final calculations to military commanders. Civilians said goodbye to their families and reported to their battle stations. Everyone knew the odds. The Concordat was more powerful. They had better ships, better weapons, and better technology. By all logic, humans should lose this fight quickly. But humans had never been very good at accepting logic when their survival was threatened. They had something the Concordat did not have. They had desperation. They had courage. They had creativity. Most importantly, they had the willingness to fight with everything they had, no matter the cost. The Concordat was about to learn a valuable lesson. Technology can win many battles, but it cannot win against an enemy that refuses to give up. It cannot win against an enemy that turns every weakness into a weapon. It cannot win against an enemy fighting for their home, their families, and their future. The countdown continued. 3 hours. 2 hours, 1 hour. The time for talking was over. The time for fighting had begun. The Concordat fleet appeared exactly on time. They came out of their faster-than-light travel in the space between Earth and the Moon. 57 ships arranged in a formation that showed complete confidence. Each ship could destroy a city with one shot. They had given humans 24 hours to surrender. That time was now over. Commander Zrethtal led the Concordat attack force. He looked at the battle situation with mild interest. The humans had scattered their simple ships across the lunar surface and around their home world. This was a standard defensive position for a species about to lose. He had seen this same situation hundreds of times before across the galaxy. His second officer, Telvara, pointed at the display with one of her 4 arms. They are charging their weapons, Commander. Should we raise our shields? Zrethtal made a gesture that was like a human laugh. Against such primitive technology, keep only the stealth fields active. Let them see how useless their resistance is. Then we will accept their surrender. On Space Station Sentinel-7, Captain Laura Bennett watched her tactical display very carefully. Every ship, every platform, every weapon was ready. Dr. Torres had sent her calculations to all the ships. They would only get one chance at this. All units, this is Bennett. Fire on my command. Remember, fire everything at once across all projected positions. 3, 2, 1, fire. The sky filled with light as thousands of weapons fired at the same time. Railguns shot metal slugs. Mass drivers launched projectiles. Every weapon fired from positions all across the Earth-Moon system. Simple tungsten metal moving at incredible speeds. No energy signatures to dodge. No fancy targeting systems to hack. Just physics and momentum. Commander Zrethtal's confidence disappeared instantly as alarms screamed across his bridge. The humans had fired everything at once. His stealth fields were being overwhelmed by the sheer number of incoming projectiles. Drop stealth fields. Raise defensive shields immediately. As the Concordat ships became visible, appearing like ghosts becoming solid across the lunar sky, Laura allowed herself a small smile. There you are. All units, we have target locks. Fire at will. The second wave hit even harder. Now that they could see the enemy, Earth's defenders targeted weak points. They aimed at vulnerable sections that Dr. Torres had identified from studying the alien blood samples. The Concordat ships were strong, but they were not invincible. 3 alien ships exploded in the first minute of fighting. 7 more were badly damaged, leaking air and debris into space. The rest began moving to avoid the attacks. Their confidence was shattered. Lieutenant Commander Sophie Grant was piloting one of Earth's few real warships, a destroyer called Phoenix. She saw an opportunity and took it. She pushed her engines to maximum power, ignoring the warning alarms, and positioned her ship directly in front of a retreating Concordat cruiser. All weapons, full power. Let's show them what close-range fighting means. The Phoenix fired everything it had from less than 1 kilometer away. Missiles, railgun rounds, even the backup thrusters were aimed at the alien ship. The Concordate cruiser's shields flickered and failed under the constant attack. Sophie kept firing until the alien ship broke in half, its strange engines exploding. Phoenix to Bennett. I destroyed 1 cruiser. But I am taking fire from multiple enemies. Shields at 40% and dropping fast. Laura's mind worked quickly through options. The Phoenix was one of their best ships. Sophie Grant was one of their finest commanders. She could not afford to lose either. All available ships protect the Phoenix. Get her some help. On the moon's surface, Colonel Marcus Chen commanded a battery of large railguns. He had been a soldier for 23 years. He had fought in the Mars independence conflict years ago. He thought he had seen everything. This battle was changing everything he knew about war. Battery 4, target the destroyer at coordinates Echo 7. Battery 6, support the Phoenix. Battery 9, shoot anything you can hit. His weapons roared, sending tungsten rounds up through the moon's thin atmosphere and into the battle above. One of his shots hit a Concordate frigate's engine section. It caused a chain reaction that destroyed 3 nearby enemy ships. Commander Zrethital watched his fleet fall apart around him with growing horror. In 18 years of military service, he had never lost a ship in combat. Now he had lost 14 ships in less than 20 minutes. These humans were not just fighting back. They were winning. All ships retreat immediately. Enter faster-than-light travel now. But the humans had learned from their first encounter. Dr. Torres had discovered that the aliens needed to drop their shields completely to enter faster-than-light travel. It created a window of vulnerability, a brief moment when they could be hurt. Laura saw it happening on her display. They are running. All units fire at any ship that drops its shields. Do not let them escape. 8 more Concordate ships were destroyed trying to flee. They were caught in the moment between battle and escape. Commander Zrethital's own flagship took 3 direct hits. It crippled his port engines and killed half his crew. He managed to enter faster-than-light travel, but only 26 of his original 57 ships escaped with him. As the last alien ship disappeared, a cheer erupted across every human ship and station. They had won. Against impossible odds with worse technology, humanity had defeated a galactic power. But Admiral Clark's voice cut through the celebration. All ships, stay at battle stations. This was just their first attack. They will come back, and next time they will be ready for our tactics. Captain Bennett, send me damage reports and casualty numbers. We need to prepare for the next battle. Laura nodded seriously. They had won this battle, but the war was just beginning. The Concordate would not accept this defeat. They would return with more ships, better preparation, and a desire for revenge. But humans had proven something important today. They had shown that advanced technology alone could not guarantee victory. They had shown that determination, creativity, and the willingness to take risks could overcome superior firepower. They had shown the galaxy that Earth would not surrender. The message was clear. Earth had replied to the Concordate's ultimatum with action instead of words. And that reply said everything the aliens needed to know. If you want our home, you will have to fight for it, and we will make you pay for every meter of space you try to take. News of humanity's victory spread through the galaxy faster than anyone expected. The Concordate was not just any military force. They were the enforcement arm of the Galactic Council. This was the organization that had kept order across 17,000 inhabited star systems for thousands of years. They did not lose battles. They did not retreat from primitive species, until now. 3 days after the battle at the moon, Admiral Clark found herself in an unusual situation. Her quantum communication system was receiving dozens of messages from alien civilizations she did not even know existed. Some offered friendship. Some offered trade deals. Many offered warnings. The most worrying message came from a species calling themselves the Vrex Collective. Dr. Torres translated the message. Her voice was tense. They are saying that the Concordate will return with their full battle fleet, not dozens of ships, thousands of ships. They are also saying that the Galactic Council has declared Earth a hostile civilization. Any species that trades with us or helps us will face punishment. Admiral Clark absorbed this information with the calm that came from decades of command. How much time do we have? The Vrex estimate 30 days before the main fleet arrives. Admiral, they are also offering us something. Information about Concordate weaknesses, tactical databases, and weapon specifications. In exchange, they want our tactical data from the moon battle. Why would they help us? Dr. Torres smiled slightly because we scared them. All of them. For the first time in recorded galactic history, a species just starting space travel defeated a concordate fleet. Every species that is unhappy under Council rule is suddenly very interested in how we did it. Captain Laura Bennett was attending the meeting through a hologram from Sentinel-7. She leaned forward. We should accept their offer, Admiral. 30 days is not enough time to develop completely new weapons, but if we combine their information with our tactics, we might have a chance. Commander Foster raised a concern. What if this is a trap? What if they are working with the Concordate to gather our tactical information? Then we will have lost nothing we did not already show them in battle. But if they are genuine, this could be the advantage we need. Accept their offer, Doctor, but keep our really innovative ideas to ourselves. They want to know how we won? Tell them. But do not tell them what we are planning next. Over the next 3 weeks, humanity changed itself with terrifying speed. The data from the Virex revealed something important. The Concordate relied heavily on advanced technology but had become too comfortable. They fought battles the same way they had for centuries. They used overwhelming technological superiority to crush opposition before it could organize. Humans fought differently. They adapted to new situations. They improvised solutions. They took impossible risks and made them work through sheer determination. Dr. Torres led teams that developed new weapons based on the Vrex data, but using human engineering principles. They could not match concordate shields or faster-than-light drives, but they could create weapons that exploited specific weaknesses the Vrex had identified. Lieutenant Commander Sophie Grant, promoted after her brave actions at the moon, worked with thousands of civilian volunteers. Together, they created a new type of combat vessel. Not traditional warships, but converted civilian ships loaded with weapons and piloted by people willing to take enormous risks. They called them the Minutemen, after the revolutionary fighters from old Earth history. Fast, cheap, dangerous, and willing to fight at close range where advanced technology mattered less than courage and determination. Colonel Marcus Chen trained a new generation of soldiers in what he called asymmetric space warfare. Hit-and-run attacks, false retreats, decoys and distractions. Every trick humans had learned in thousands of years of fighting each other, now adapted for combat in space. But the most important development came from an unexpected source. A graduate student named Danny Wright, working at a university on Mars, found something in the alien blood samples that Dr. Torres had missed. He ran into Torres's lab with his tablet computer, talking so fast she could barely understand him. Doctor, the aliens, their biology, it is not just existing in multiple dimensions. It is quantum-locked to specific frequency ranges. That is why kinetic weapons work. It is not about the energy level. It is about the quantum disruption caused when matter intersects. If we can generate a field that causes mass quantum decoherence, we could literally make their bodies unstable. Dr. Torres looked at the data. Her mind raced through the implications. We could build weapons that do not just damage them. We could build weapons that make it impossible for them to exist in our dimension. Danny, you brilliant young man, you might have just given us the key to winning this war. 28 days after the moon battle, Admiral Clark stood before a holographic assembly. Every ship captain, station commander, and military leader in the solar system was watching. They are coming. The Concordate main fleet. Our estimates put them at over 3,000 ships. We have 400 combat-capable vessels and another 2,000 armed civilian craft. By any normal calculation, we should lose this battle in minutes. She paused, letting that information sink in. But there is nothing normal about humanity. We have spent the last month preparing. We have new weapons, new tactics, and something the Concordate does not have. The knowledge that we can win. We have already beaten them once. We will do it again. Not because we have better technology, but because we have something more important. We are fighting for our home, our families, our future, and humans have never lost when the stakes are that high. Across the solar system, from Mercury's mining stations to Neptune's orbital platforms, humanity prepared. Engineers made final checks on weapons. Soldiers said goodbye to loved ones. Scientists uploaded their last calculations to the military network. Civilians took positions on armed freighters and converted passenger ships. Everyone knew what was coming. A fleet so large it would blot out the stars. Ships with technology humans could barely understand. Warriors who had conquered dozens of worlds. But humans had something those warriors had never faced before. Desperation mixed with hope, fear mixed with anger, the absolute certainty that surrender was not an option. This was their home, their only home, and they would defend it with their last breath. The Concordat fleet appeared from faster-than-light travel in perfect formation. A wall of ships so vast it blocked out the stars behind them. 3,247 vessels. Each one was crewed by experienced warriors who had never known defeat. At their head was Executor Vornath, the Concordat's supreme military commander. He had personally overseen the conquest of 47 planetary systems. He looked at the human defenses with cold calculation. They had fortified their orbital space. They had created overlapping fields of fire. They had positioned their vessels in defensive layers. Clever for primitives, but useless against the might he commanded. Open a communication channel to the human leadership. Admiral Clark's face appeared on his display. For a moment, Vornath was surprised by the complete absence of fear in her expression. I am Executor Vornath of the Concordat. You have 30 of your minutes to order all vessels to stand down and prepare for occupation. Resist and we will sterilize your entire solar system. This is not a negotiation. This is your only warning. Admiral Clark smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. Executor, I am Admiral Patricia Clark, Earth Defense Force. Let me save us both some time. We are not surrendering. We are not backing down. And we are not scared of your fleet. You came here to teach us a lesson. Instead, we are going to teach you why picking a fight with humanity was the worst mistake your civilization ever made. She ended the transmission before he could respond. On Sentinel-7, Captain Laura Bennett watched the countdown timer reach 0. All units weapons free. Show them what happens when you threaten Earth. Execute Operation Thunderstorm. The battle began not with Earth's military vessels, but with the Minutemen, 2,000 converted civilian ships, each packed with kinetic weapons and piloted by volunteers, accelerated toward the Concordat fleet at maximum speed. They looked like a swarm of angry insects rushing toward a giant. Executor Vornath watched with contempt. They are sending civilian craft against us? Destroy them. But as his ships opened fire, the Minutemen did something unexpected. They scattered in precise patterns that Dr. Torres had calculated. These patterns maximized survival and made targeting difficult. For every Minutemen ship that was destroyed, 3 more got through the defensive fire. And when they reached the Concordat fleet, they did not try to survive. They rammed into enemy ships at full speed. Lieutenant Commander Sophie Grant was coordinating the military support for the Minutemen. She watched the tactical display with tears in her eyes. Each disappearing blip was a person she knew. A volunteer who had chosen to sacrifice themselves for Earth. But their sacrifice was not in vain. Minutemen have damaged 73 enemy vessels. They have created a gap in the enemy formation. All combat vessels advance through the gap now. The Phoenix led the charge with Sophie at the controls once again. Behind her came 400 military ships and the remaining Minutemen. They poured through the breach in the Concordat lines. The aliens tried to close the gap, but humanity's military vessels were equipped with the new quantum disruption weapons Danny Wright had developed. The effect was devastating. Concordat ships hit by the disruption fields did not just take damage. Their crews began to phase out of normal space involuntarily. Their multidimensional biology went haywire. Ships became ghost vessels, unable to fight or even maintain formation. On the lunar surface, Colonel Marcus Chen commanded his artillery batteries with deadly precision. All batteries. Focus fire on coordinates transmitted from Phoenix. We are not trying to destroy them. We are herding them into the kill zones. Make every shot count. The Concordat fleet found itself in an impossible situation. The humans were not fighting a normal battle. They were using tactics that made no sense by Concordat standards. Civilian ships that fought like military vessels that moved like small fighters, artillery that seemed to predict their movements before they made them. Executor Vornath realized too late that he had made a fundamental error. He had brought a fleet designed to overwhelm and intimidate, but intimidation only worked against opponents who valued their own survival above all else. These humans fought like every battle was their last. Because for them it was all ships tactical retreat. We need to regroup and reassess the situation. But Admiral Clark had anticipated this moment. She had studied the Vrex data extensively. She knew the Concordat would try to withdraw when casualties reached critical levels. All units, execute Operation Anvil. Do not let them run. Hidden platforms throughout the solar system activated simultaneously. They created a network of quantum disruption fields that made faster-than-light travel impossible within the Earth-Moon system. The Concordat fleet was trapped. Captain Laura Bennett, coordinating the fleet from Sentinel-7, saw the moment the Concordat forces realized they were caught. Their formation collapsed into chaos as individual commanders tried desperately to find an escape route. All ships, press the attack. No mercy, they came here to destroy us. Send them home with a message instead. The battle raged for 7 hours. When it finally ended, the Concordat had lost over 2,000 ships. Executor Vornath's flagship was captured intact after a boarding action led by Sergeant Alex Carter, the man who had drawn first blood in humanity's war against the galaxy. The remaining Concordat vessels were allowed to escape, but only after Earth's defenders stripped them of weapons. They also forced the aliens to transmit a full record of the battle to the Galactic Council. Admiral Clark stood on the bridge of the captured flagship. She opened a communication channel to the Galactic Council, using the Executor's own equipment. To the Galactic Council, you sent assassins to our home. You tried to conquer us before we could even understand the galaxy we live in. You thought we would be easy prey. You were wrong. Earth is not asking for permission to exist among the stars. We are not seeking approval from your council. We are claiming our right through strength. Any species that threatens our home, our colonies, or our people will face the same fate as the Concordat. This is not a negotiation. This is not a request. This is fact. Earth has replied to your intimidation. The message is simple. Try harder. Much, much harder. She ended the transmission and turned to her command staff. She allowed herself a moment of exhaustion. Get me casualty reports, and find out how many civilians died during the battle. They deserve to be honored for what they gave us today. Lieutenant Kevin Price stepped forward with a tablet computer. Admiral, we are receiving transmissions from 17 different alien civilizations. Most are offering formal diplomatic relations. 3 are offering military alliances. And the Vrex Collective wants to discuss forming a mutual defense pact. Admiral Clark nodded slowly. The galaxy just learned that humans are not prey. We are predators. And we have just proven that even the mightiest empire can fall if they underestimate us. Forward all diplomatic communications to Earth's government. They will need to figure out how to navigate galactic politics. Our job was to make sure they had that opportunity. Captain Laura Bennett stood by the window of Sentinel-7 once again. She watched Earth rotate peacefully below. The planet looked the same as it had before the war, but everything had changed. Humanity was no longer alone in the universe. They were no longer the innocent explorers reaching out into space. They had become something else, something the galaxy would have to respect. Dr. Helen Torres arrived at the captured Concordat flagship 3 hours after the battle ended. She wanted to study their technology firsthand. What she found surprised her. The aliens were not more intelligent than humans. Their technology was not built on principles humans could not understand. They had simply been exploring space for longer. They had more time to develop their tools and weapons. Commander Foster joined her in the alien engineering room. Can we learn from this, Doctor? Helen smiled. We can do better than learn. We can improve on their designs. The Concordat became comfortable with their superiority. They stopped innovating. They stopped taking risks. Humans are still in our creative phase. We still try crazy ideas. We still take chances. Give us 10 years with this technology, and we will build ships that make theirs look primitive. On the moon, Colonel Marcus Chen walked through his battery positions. Many of his guns were damaged or destroyed. Many of his soldiers were wounded or dead. But they had won. They had held the line when it mattered most. A young private approached him. She looked tired but proud. Sir, they are saying we changed history today. They are saying the galaxy will never be the same. Chen looked at the Earth hanging in the sky above them. Maybe we did, but we did not do it alone. Every person who fought today was a hero. Every person who died today was a hero. From the Minutemen who sacrificed themselves to the engineers who kept our weapons working. This was not won by a few great leaders. This was won by millions of ordinary people who refused to give up. Lieutenant Commander Sophie Grant returned to Earth 3 days after the battle. She had lost her ship, the Phoenix, in the final hours of fighting. But she had survived. So many had not. She attended memorial services for the Minutemen volunteers, thousands of civilians who had flown converted freighters and passenger ships into battle. Most of them had not returned. A reporter asked her what she felt about the victory. Sophie looked at the memorial wall covered with names. I feel grateful. And sad. We won because people were willing to die for something bigger than themselves. That is the human spirit. We will sacrifice everything for our home, our families, our future. The Concordat could not understand that. They fought for duty and orders. We fought for love. Danny Wright, the graduate student who had discovered the quantum disruption principle, found himself suddenly famous. Universities wanted him. Military organizations wanted him. Corporations wanted him. But he stayed on Mars working in the same small laboratory where he had made his discovery. Dr. Torres visited him there. You could have anything you want now, Danny. Why stay here? He looked around his cluttered lab. Because this is where I do my best work. The fame does not matter. What matters is that we keep pushing forward. The Concordat will not be the last threat we face. The galaxy is full of civilizations and not all of them will be friendly. We need to be ready. We need to keep innovating, keep improving, keep thinking of new solutions to impossible problems. 6 months after the battle, the Galactic Council sent an official delegation to Earth. Not to demand surrender. Not to threaten. To negotiate. They wanted to establish formal diplomatic relations. They wanted to discuss trade agreements. Most importantly, they wanted to ensure that Earth understood the rules of galactic civilization. Admiral Clark represented humanity at the meeting. She listened to their proposals. She heard their concerns. Then she made Earth's position clear. Humanity will follow galactic law when it makes sense. We will trade fairly. We will respect other species' territorial claims. We will participate in your council as equals, but understand this clearly. We will never accept threats again. We will never bow to intimidation, and we will defend ourselves with every resource we have if anyone tries to conquer us. The Concordat learned this lesson. We hope the rest of the galaxy learns from their mistake. The delegation left Earth with a new understanding. Humans were not a species to be conquered or controlled. They were a species to be respected and feared. Captain Laura Bennett was promoted to Admiral 1 year after the war. She took command of Earth's expanding deep space fleet. Humanity was building new ships based on captured Concordat technology, but improved with human innovation. They were establishing new colonies beyond the solar system. They were reaching out to other species for trade and friendship, but they were also building defenses, creating new weapons, training new soldiers. Because they had learned a valuable lesson, the galaxy was dangerous. Peace had to be maintained through strength. On the anniversary of the battle, Earth held a day of remembrance. They honored the 53,000 people who had died defending their home. They remembered the Minutemen volunteers, the soldiers on the moon, the crew members on destroyed stations, everyone who had given their lives so that humanity could survive. Admiral Clark gave a speech that was broadcast across the solar system and to humanity's new colonies beyond. 1 year ago, the galaxy tried to destroy us. They sent their best warriors. They brought their most advanced weapons. They demanded our surrender, and we replied with 2 simple words: try harder. Today we remember those who gave everything to send that message. We honor their sacrifice by continuing their work, by building a stronger humanity, by reaching for the stars with confidence instead of fear. The galaxy learned that humans do not surrender. Now let them learn what we can accomplish when we are free to reach our full potential. Sergeant Alex Carter, now a colonel, stood at attention during the ceremony. His simple knife, the one that had drawn first blood against the Concordat, was now displayed in Earth's military museum. A reminder that sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective. That courage matters more than technology. That humans can overcome any obstacle when they refuse to give up. As the ceremony ended and people returned to their daily lives, one truth remained clear. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, not through permission, not through submission, but through determination, ingenuity, and the absolute refusal to surrender in the face of impossible odds. The galaxy had sent assassins to Earth. Earth had replied with a message written in fire and blood and courage. A message that echoed through every star system. A message that would be remembered for generations. Try harder, because humanity will never be easy prey. They will never surrender their freedom. They will never stop fighting for their home. And anyone who threatens them will learn the same lesson the Concordat learned. Humans are the most dangerous species in the galaxy, not because of their technology, not because of their physical strength, but because of their spirit, their refusal to accept defeat, their ability to turn weakness into strength, their willingness to sacrifice everything for what they believe in. The galaxy had learned, and it would never forget.